There are four types of individuation, and it's important to distinguish between the four because they are they're really different, and because this is a topic that's so ineffable, um, one of the great philosophical mistakes that a lot of people make, a lot of even great philosophers make, is they collapse these four things into one. Um, so there's individual, and they're sort of assigned to each metaphysical plane. So there's the individuation of the individual. So like my own, like if I'm some kind of plant, um, if I'm some kind of organism that's not my body but my soul, basically, um, that can individuate. It can mature, go from an acorn to a tree, um, and it's it's me. It's my soul. Um, that's Sem. Ananon uh, is the individuation of my creative work, and even that you want to distinguish between the crystallization of a given work of art, uh, like an album or whatever, in any kind of work where you're suffering to work on it for a while and finally it's complete and then it's ready for the fruit to drop from the tree and for it to circulate. Um, uh, there's that, um, but then there's a kind of wider sense of creative individuation too, which is your body of work maturing, um, and that's something we all recognize that in bodies of work that um, someone will have their juvenilia and then they'll kind of catch their stride, maybe have an apex and then decline, and that's uh, that's not the same. Those two things are in the field of Ananon, of sort of work artworks directed towards infinity, which is very different, but related to, but not in a different realm, on a different plane than the individuation of the human being, um, who is maturing in their moral wisdom, basically, and that kind of thing, who may at a certain point, for example, choose to abandon creative work entirely, and maybe if they're on a like bodhisattva path, or whatever, they just turn away from creative individuation altogether, but they're still individuated or individuating. Um, then there's LLC, which is the kind of collective organism, and this individuation is, you could say, dynastic. It has to do with a healthy collective organism, whether that is, it could be a family, it could be a a scene, like an institution of some kind, which it's not, corporate bodies are not directed towards the infinite, so they're not creative artworks or creative styles, and they're not singular points of consciousness. They're not people, and but it's something that it will outlive me. A legacy, basically. Um, and then finally, there is the individuation of Olalan herself, which is the transformation of the human race into a higher being, um, or the creation of the kingdom of heaven on earth, um, with the idea that that's something along the lines of, you can compare it to like the evolution of human beings from apes or something, but some kind of, or single cell organisms coming together to create a multicellular organisms, like that there's a process, as Nietzsche says, man is a bridge. So there's a process underway where humanity is sort of destined to become a lower level structure in a higher level structure that we'll never actually fully understand, which may be further along the way than we realize already, or maybe not. And a key thesis for me is that, first of all, that no one of those is primary, and none of them are imaginary. They're all equally significant. They're incommensurable. It's like, apples don't matter less than oranges, that kind of thing. And there's certainly a temptation to decide on a theory about how they all fit together, but those theories are speculative, and I would argue that it's sinful actually to commit to one. That true Christianity leaves that question open to faith. So, for example, like my intuition, for example, is probably that individuation at the level of Ananon, of the creative type, it serves the individuation of Olalan somehow. That the reason that creative visions appear to people are that they're sort of opening up some sort of new degree of freedom that will be useful for the creation of the kingdom of heaven on earth, according to laws that we can't really understand. And so there's an ethics to faith in the creative, because it will, it's for Olalan, it's for God, basically. But I don't know that. I don't know that, and there's something evil about creative faith as well, and in like the results of sort of turning creative transgression into morality itself are usually pretty disturbing, and a lot of people will endorse that without really understanding what they're saying. And so again, it's kind of a matter of humility. Like there's moral individuation has its place in Ananon and in Sem, in the non-expanding realms, non-infinite realms. And anyway, there's plenty to say about all four of those planes. maybe I'll get to all four of them during this decan to discuss individually, but yeah, this is one of those moments. I say this now and then when I'm lecturing, where like what I'm saying is not people don't usually get this, and it's easy to ignore. It's easy for it to sound banal, because it's more exciting. It's more exciting somehow to philosophers to put some kind of hierarchy on all of this, and then to sort of believe that they've discovered some kind of key, um, and that's Gnosticism. Uh, we haven't discovered the key. We have to, like, real Christian thought involves this very nuanced dialectic between seeing things for what they are and acknowledging and accepting that things are really changing in the world and affirming that, but also maintaining humility about the heights to which, like, my own intellect can reach at the current time. That's the humility in thought, is to not be like destructively speculative.